Valentina Gomez, you were laughing as you were listening there. Many people have not been laughing at your video, particularly at phrases like "vote for me so we can kick every dirty Muslim out of Texas." If you had a Muslim candidate in Texas saying "vote for me so we can kick every dirty Christian out of Texas," you would rightly, I imagine, be outraged at that.
In this clip, you're about to see one of the most unhinged moments I've ever come across on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Valentina Gomez goes completely off the rails with a racist tirade, only to be challenged and shut down by several people on the panel. We'll watch the exchange in full, and I'll share my full breakdown toward the end. I've also linked the complete debate in the description below. Let's get into it.
Why do you think it's acceptable to use a phrase like "so we can kick every dirty Muslim out of Texas"?
Good morning, Piers. And since you didn't have the decency of introducing me correctly, I'll happily do it. Good morning to all of my beautiful people in England. Hello to all of my lads in the UK. Last time I was there, I had an amazing time. I'm Valentina Gomez. I will be the next congresswoman for the state of Texas, and I'm a warrior of the one true King Jesus Christ. And England and Piers, the United States and England was built by white Christian men that follow Jesus Christ, not by a bunch of Mohammeds. So let's get that cleared out right away.
Right, you haven't answered my question. Why do you, if it was the other way around, you would be rightly outraged. Why do you think it's acceptable as somebody running for office in the United States to be so blatantly, why would you be so blatantly hateful towards one group of people?
You call it hateful and bigotry and racist and all of that garbage. I call it the truth. America is a Christian nation. These Muslims come to Christian nations, burn our churches, rape our women, shoot our American soldiers point blank, killing one of them in broad daylight, then chanting Allahu Akbar. Piers, my brother is a National Guardsman. He literally puts himself on the line for this nation. So yes, these dirty Muslims have no place in America and have no place in England.
But as you speak, you see, I'm just seeing a brazen Islamophobe. And people say that phrase doesn't exist. It doesn't. And I'm sure you find it funny, but I think you can make perfectly pertinent points about what's happened here without descending into such vile hatred towards an entire religion. And there are 5 million Muslims in the United States. Why would you want to categorize them in such a grotesque manner?
Oh, and those 5 million Muslims should definitely go back to their 56 Muslim nations. And let's get something very clear right now in your little show, Piers. I don't fear the groomers. I don't fear the pedophiles. I don't fear the corrupt politicians. And I definitely do not fear the dirty Muslims.
Let me bring in...
Can I jump in here real quick?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
No.
I mean, we should be clear about the fact. I mean, sure, Valentina is just a bigot, plain and simple, engages in the worst kinds of bigotry imaginable. But it's worth noting that she's fundamentally un-American, because the American Constitution says that you cannot discriminate against people based on religion. That is pretty clear. And so she's engaging in an anti-American campaign in the name of protecting America, which is just irony beyond imagination. So yes, she's a charlatan. She doesn't know what she's talking about. You can tell by looking at her that her IQ hovers around room temperature. To me, the real scandal is not engaging with her directly because she's beneath taking seriously. But the problem is with the GOP, that you have a major party in this country having a candidate running under its flagship, engaging in this kind of really incredibly hateful, incendiary rhetoric, and they do nothing about it. We've seen it with the dissent with Donald Trump himself, with the lawlessness that he has brought to the table and the corruption that he's allowed to get away with, without the party really standing up and putting country before party and before president. And you can see that slippery slope now leading to this level, where you have just a complete hateful clown like this person representing that party without the party objecting to it.
Yeah, you know what?
Leading us towards a very, very dark place in this country.
I actually completely.
All right.
I completely agree with you. There are perfectly legitimate.
No, Piers. And to
I actually do agree with him. I think your brazen bigotry is obvious.
Let's make something very clear, Piers. I only discriminate against terrorists. These terrorists have no place in America. They have no place in the world. And the best type of terrorist is a dead terrorist. And let's look at your Quran. Your Quran 8:12 states to terrorize and behead those who believe in scriptures other than the Quran. And that Afghani, that dirty Muslim that killed Sarah Beckstrom.
It doesn't actually say that, and this is the problem.
And Andrew Wolf, who is
all right, let me bring in Kasim Rashid. Welcome to Uncensored. If you'd like to say what you want to say.
Yeah, I co-sign everything Omar said there. And I think fundamentally this is where we are as a country, where rather than talking about real serious issues, we have these firebrands I think she ran in Missouri, got 7%, moved to Texas to try to lose there as well. Look, the reality is that, we need to look at the facts here. And the facts tell us that immigration is a net positive in every single way to this country. The facts tell us, a Northwestern University study of the last 150 years found that at no point in American history have immigrants had a higher crime rate than born U.S. citizens. We're talking about Somalia, and we're talking about Minnesota. Well, Minnesota is the 4th best state in the country to start a business and to live and to work. It's the 15th safest state in the country as well. And so, the difference here is that we want the constitutional principles of due process of law to apply. And this, this idea that we're a Christian nation is contradicted by the founders of this country itself. We are actually a secular democratic republic where people can believe or not believe as they wish without oppression. And I think it's critically important that whatever our, political differences, we stand united on this basic principle that human dignity, human rights, religious freedom must be protected, even for those with whom I disagree, because at the end of the day, that's what the First Amendment requires, that's what the Constitution requires. If we lose that principle, then we deteriorate into fascism and anarchy, and I don't think anybody wants that.
Rob O'Neill, what do you feel?
All right, speaking candidly here, I've been seeing Valentina Gomez surface more and more on my feed lately, and the more I see, the more convinced I am that she represents some of the worst impulses in modern political culture. This isn't someone who appears genuinely invested in improving lives or stepping into public office to create real outcomes. What she's actually doing is playing a character online, performing outrage for clicks and attention. She's not campaigning with ideas or solutions, she's chasing virality. Her entire presence revolves around shock tactics, book burnings, Quran burnings, and highly provocative staged videos designed to inflame rather than inform. I considered showing one of those clips here, but it crosses into territory that's frankly disturbing. It involves a staged execution scenario meant to imply that violence is an appropriate response to immigration. That alone tells you everything you need to know about the nature of her messaging. This is her pattern. She pushes her rhetoric as far to the extreme as possible, adopting the most inflammatory positions she can find in an effort to appeal to the far right. And notably, even figures she might expect support from haven't backed her, including Donald Trump, who has publicly endorsed her opponent instead. She's also been reported seeking funding support despite repeatedly running for office and losing, and that part matters. She doesn't lose by accident. She loses because her public record is filled with openly hostile rhetoric, targeting LGBTQ+ communities, engaging in Islamophobic stunts, disrupting religious events, and making sweeping statements about who does and doesn't belong in entire states. When someone runs for office, they're supposed to represent everyone in their district. Their job is to serve constituents, not antagonize entire communities for online engagement. What we see here isn't public service, it's trolling with a campaign logo attached. At the end of the day, her brand is outrage without substance. She offers performance instead of policy, provocation instead of governance. There's no interest in coalition building, no legislative vision, and no credible experience. Just noise. And that's exactly why she keeps losing. Not because of some grand conspiracy, but because voters can tell the difference between someone who wants attention and someone who wants to lead. I'll be bringing you more moments from this interview moving forward. In the meantime, let me know what you thought about this clip in the comments. If you're down there, hit subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. It helps the channel more than you might think. We're closing in on 80,000 subscribers, and I appreciate every bit of support. I'll see you in the next one.